Hey guys, let's talk about number input. So, what is number input? Number input lets the user enter an integer or a float. We will use this technique whenever we want to ask the user for a number. For example, you might ask the user how much they like something on a scale of 1 to 10 or how old they are. In order to do this, we need to convert user input to a number when we want to do math with the value the user enters. Okay? Would look like this. So we've got var, which stands for our variable. Equal means a sign, so var gets user input. In the second example here, we have var gets integer var. So we are typecasting right here as we are collecting the input, as we are collecting the information. And then here's another one, var gets float var. Now remember, int stands for integer, and that means whole numbers, positive or negative. And float stands for decimals. So again, positive or negative, but floats for decimals. Okay? Um, so what we're going to do is we're going to do some coding here. Pause. Okay, so let's talk about number inputs. So in this example, we have rate and hours. So it looks like we're talking about moolah. Let's see what line 10 says. Line 10 says, ask how many hours the user worked and store it as a float. So what does that look like for us? Well, it looks like this. Put my cursor at line 11, and I go hours equals input, parenthesis quotation marks, and then I'm going to say, how many hours did you work? Question mark, space, quotation mark, parenthesis. Now, I'm not quite done because notice as I'm asking for this input, it's going to be automatically stored as a string because this is a string. So what I want to do right below that at line 12 is I want to typecast. So we're going to go hours equals float hours. Okay, hours equals float hours. Later on, we'll learn how to combine those two, but for now, let's just practice doing them on two separate lines. The next one down, line 15, says ask the user's pay rate and store it as a float. So again, we're going to go rate gets input, parenthesis, quotation mark, how much do you earn in an hour? Question mark, space, quotation, parenthesis. So this is referring to, do you make $7 an hour? Do you make $20 an hour? That's the type of response we're looking to get. Okay. And then again, we need to typecast rate as a float because what if somebody gets paid $7.50 an hour, right? We want to make sure we don't lose that 50 cents. And in order to get a change like that, we need a decimal point. And in order to have a decimal point, we need a float. Okay, so now that I have that set up, make sure yours looks like mine. The next thing we're going to do is run. So let's run this, see what we get. It says, how many hours did you work? Well, let's say 40 because that's a full-time job. And how much did you earn per hour? Let's say you earn $15.50. Okay, $15.50. So by punching that in, it says congratulations, you earned $620. Now notice there's only one zero after the decimal point. That just means that there is no change. Okay, there was no change based off of what we chose to put in to our equation. But because that is done, there were no bugs, you are free to turn this in. So if you need any more time or a good glance at what we did, there it is. Remember we added lines 11, 12, 15, and 16. And this is number input demo. It's the purple one. Number input demo.